Okay, let's welcome Sophie.
Cool. Thank you everyone for joining this session. So we got a little agenda here today for you. We got 3 major parts to split today's topic about how to build your LinkedIn profile and increase your influence, and also a little bit of tricks on the LinkedIn etiquette, what you can do or we suggest you not to do. And at the end, we will have an audience Q&A, and depending on how many questions we have, we may extend a few minutes longer. Then we will wrap up and have you to get to know a few things when we close off. All right, dear. So when I do stuff, before that, please feel free to join our Slido board. This is, you can get onto the slido.com and use the code or just scan the QR code. Our event organizers will also post the links and information in the chat box. So if you missed this page, that doesn't matter, just watch closely in the chat box. Right, everything I do, I always start with why. So why I do this talk and what is my motivations behind it? I would love to say, first of all, I want all of you to increase your professional network and influence so that you can succeed. And this is where my passion is, to help everyone to succeed. And once you got influence on network on LinkedIn, I would love you to help promote the bigger community like us using your influence. Why we want that? Because I want to have a collaborate efforts to change industry's mindset or how they think about aspiring BAs from non-traditional backgrounds. And then the next step will be, hopefully the industry will open up more opportunities for our aspiring BA communities. And in that way, you will be even more successful. And this is the ultimate goal I want to achieve. So as Elena already mentioned earlier, we suggest you to not just be sitting there and listen and watch. We would love you to engage with us and actively participating in all those activities, especially when I was doing the demos. The first step is to grab a notebook, whether it's digital or physical, that doesn't matter, just to note down some useful tips that I shared throughout the presentation. And the second step is also to open up your LinkedIn page on the browser from your laptop, so that when I do the demos, you can follow all my steps and practice on your own side. The third is that ask great questions throughout the time, and you can post your questions to our Slido board at any time during the talk. We will just summarize and answer each of them in the end of the presentation. The fourth one is that we would love you to add your learnings or even profile links to our Google Drive sheet. In that way, you can actually connect with people who attend the talk today and build your network effectively. Last one is, I know this will be a very informative session. So if you missed anything, like when you're listening to the talk, feel free to watch the YouTube. We will upload the recordings after the session by end of this week. So you can always refer back to the videos and check the things that you didn't get it clearly at the first place. Lastly, if you love our sessions and you think it's useful, you learn something really valuable, and you love engagement and the vibe, please help spread the word for us, because we want to grow our community and collectively build our influence in New Zealand workplace. All right, so why we should use LinkedIn? Again, another why question, right? And thanks to ChatGPT, it saved me a lot of time to do those summaries. It is pretty good what it's summarized. So by using LinkedIn, we can do all these things. However, I think it is not specific enough. That's why I did another research on the LinkedIn presence within New Zealand. So from the left hand, the chart shows that how many professionals in different industries within New Zealand are presenting on LinkedIn. And you can see there's the arrow here about software and IT services. There is about 110,000 people there. So you can imagine it is a very large network that we can connect with, right? And among all those 660 million global users, there are about 2.2 million in New Zealand. That is almost 40% of the whole population. So it's a large amount of users out there. What's even better is that almost every single recruiter that I talked to, they said they use LinkedIn as the primary tool to search for candidates, which means if you want to do a job hunting, make sure you build your LinkedIn profile really good. Okay, so I understand I'm not like a super celebrity or influence on LinkedIn. However, I think my experience will be very applicable to you because I just started about 2 years ago, and now I can just show you what I have achieved. The first thing I've achieved is that I have a great audience engagement through my LinkedIn page and throughout all those postings. This is one of the most recent posts I created. And you can see here it's about 6,700 impressions. That's pretty good within less than a week's time. And then I can show you later how you can get into those analytics numbers. In the past 1 year, I've received about 153,000 impressions. What does it mean by impressions? It doesn't mean that people actually click into your post. It's just when you when you swipe on the LinkedIn, it will show up on your screen. So at least people had impression of your post or your presence on LinkedIn, right? And another thing you can probably notice here is that this is like a post, which means I have a very consistent activity or like involvement on LinkedIn. So almost every week I'll post something or engage with other people. It's why I've got this consistent exposure to my connections. Yeah, so I think by building the first two things, I've got heaps of interest from recruiters or even hiring managers directly. So whenever I opened my profile to open to work, literally every single day, I received messages or phone calls from the recruiters asking me if I want to change jobs and offer me the roles that you think is suitable for me. So I hopefully, by listening to my talk today and actually apply those tips into your practice, you can also achieve these things within a short amount of time. Right, let's get into the meaty part, okay? The first part is tell you how to build your LinkedIn profile. I think this part is probably easier than the second part, which is build your influence. And what is the end goal of it? It's pretty obvious, right? If you want to go to a shop, you probably don't want to shop in an empty place. You need to have some products there. You need to have a decoration. You need to attract your users or your end customers. So that by building a comprehensive, professional, and credible profile, what you can achieve is that people will trust you instantly. They will think you is as an authentic person and someone they can have confidence in you. And you're real. Your profile is real. And the first impression is so important because it's left a very long-lasting memory of people on you. So the things that people normally neglect are listed here. The first one is a professional profile photo, and better that can show your personality and just give a first impression of people, of you on people. The second one is a catchy personal statement to highlight your career or as a person. Right. A third is use keywords in your title. Don't just use your name in the title, because in a lot of time when the recruiters search for candidates, they will use keywords. So for example, when they search for, when they want to hire some business analysts, they will use like business analysis or business analyst or senior business analyst in their searching words. So make sure you include those keywords in your title. It is crucial. And the fourth one, sometimes people will neglect it or not even know about it, is that customize your LinkedIn link. If you don't customize it, it will be very long and hard to interpret instantly when the people saw it. So customize your LinkedIn links, make it short, make it relevant to your own profile, like your name or your titles or your roles, so that people can relate to it and understand in the seconds when they saw it. All right. The fourth one is to showcase your work in About section using a presentation, video, or publications. This can also be called as a featured section. So you can highlight your career achievements or the big events that you participated in, so that people have a great impression on what you have been doing recently and what is your achievements. Another easily neglected part and less used and undervalued section is recommendations. And it is crucial that you get some local referrals or recommendations on your profile. So you don't even need to tell people that you are a credible person and you're trustworthy, because people can read it themselves and understand if it is from a very credible person or like your managers who has a weight in the industry. It will heavily increase people's trust in you. And the last thing is about adding certifications or volunteer experiences. Because sometimes if you are a graduate student, you don't really have rich history of experience. So what you can do is actually describe a little bit of your hours of study or work activities that contribute back to the community. So that people also can know a bit about you as a human being rather than just someone work in the workplace, just to make your image more fresh and more attractive. Last but not the least, if you are struggling to see where you can start from, just read other people's profile and learn from them, just to identify the places you like about their profiles and just copy, imitate everything you like. So from that, you will easily build a nice comprehensive profile. Right? Next will be my first live demo. Hopefully it will work properly. Okay. Then before that, I would love you guys now do me a favor, which is open up your LinkedIn page in your browser from your laptop. And once you've done it, please give me a thumbs up there's a reactions from the Zoom meeting. Okay. If you have done that, please give me a thumbs up, which, well, I know that you have done what I told you, the instructions. Give you a few seconds. Yeah. And then also I will move on. Can you guys see my LinkedIn profile? Yeah. It's showing on the screen? Cool.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So starting from the profile photo, you really want to have a professional looking, right? Well, I mean, in New Zealand, people are probably more relaxed about what you're holding on your hands, like you can hold a dog or a cat or something, which might be quite funny. However, you really want your head to fill at least 60 or 70% of the round circle, so that people can easily recognize your face and make a connection with you. Make sure you look at the camera in a straight way directly, or maybe lean a little bit slight angle to make it more professional. Also with a light background, or maybe like background of this with a gradient color, they will easily recognize also your head, the image. Yeah, professional outfit. You probably don't want to just wear a t-shirt or something. Wear something, maybe a girl can wear a suit, like the guys can wear a suit or a shirt. The girls can make something like a smart casual, or wherever you wear in the workplace in the daily job. So something like that will be good and suitable. Also, maybe smile a little bit. Don't be too serious, right? Nobody would like to connect with someone who has a very rigid face expression. Just make it a warm and friendly and nice smile in the profile photo. That will easily help you to build the rapport with someone checked your profile. And next thing is the banner. So you can see here, I've got a banner of myself. So what is the purpose of the banner? It is just something to tell who you are and what you do. Also, maybe something that can leave people a strong impression of you, or know what kind of person you are, make you unique. So what I've did here is that I modified a picture of myself participating in a trail running. And what I want to transmit by putting this image here is that I'm someone determined. I have a strong determination and great endurance, and I can make something happen and complete awesome stuff. So this is the message I want to transmit by putting this banner here. And you can do it as well. Just tailor whatever message you want to transmit to people. And then moving down, you can see here. Oh, I probably just above session, right? Above session is something you want to highlight for yourself. This is like something called personal statement on your CV. You can actually use this section to have list all those bullet points, all the highlights of yourself, no matter it's in the career or maybe in your personal life, something you really want to emphasize and leave an impression on people. So what I did here is that I had my personal mission statement. I want to make this world a better place, blah, blah, blah. And then what I enjoy outside of work is trail running, tramping, kayaking. And then what is my career snapshot? I make it relevant to the business analyst mostly because this is where I'm working at, and I want people have the impression that I am a professional BA with practical experience across different sections. All right, this is pretty straightforward. And what I mentioned earlier is about the title, right? Title here, what I put is one style called labeling. You can use a lot of labels for yourself. So what I want to label myself or market myself as something that is who is caring, curious, and courageous. I always start with C because it's easy to remember and it's easy to create an impression that it is tidy, neat, and got some rhythms. Also, I put my titles here, Tech BA, which is pretty straightforward. It's just technical business analyst. And I also added a few labels about topics I want to concentrate on, which is agile, consultants, and business analysis. Sorry about the title here. I will modify later. But there are some other types of titles you can add. For example, this is like the high-profile business analyst with New Zealand. What he used is who he is. He's a speaker, he's a coach and a mentor, and he's building the business analysis capability, and he's a CBAP. This is the certification of a BA. Very professional, high experienced. And the next one is the Hana. What she does is that using the happiest when wading through gardening problems worth solving. So it is a phrase. It's also transmitting a message that it's what you are doing and what makes you unique. So there are different types of people's titles you can learn from, and just pick the one that you like the most. However, make sure it's not too lengthy. Just keep it in like 3 or 4 words. That will be enough. Alrighty. Your LinkedIn link is probably not straightforward to discover where to edit it. So where to find your own link? One thing I think someone has mentioned is that find your own link. Maybe on the laptop is from here. And then if you want to edit your profile and URL, you want to get here. Okay, here is the place you can click in the pencil here. Then you can enter whatever you like. So for example, here I put my name, Sophie Chen, and my birth date, 18th June. But you can just customize whatever you want it to be looking like. Quite easy. Once you've done it, just click back to your own profile, and that we can check other stuff. I'm sure there are some people in this meeting that you are actually hunting, like do job hunting. One thing sometimes people forgot to do is to open your profile. How to do that? Easy. You see here, there's a section open to, and you may want to finding a new job is probably most people want to do. Or if you're a recruiter, you can just do hiring or providing services. So finding a new job, just click into it. Then you can add your titles to it, what kind of job titles you want to look for, and whether it's on-site or hybrid or remote, and where's your location. Also, when is your start date, whether it's immediate or flexible. The next one is job types. Do you want a full-time, a contractor, part-time, internship, or temporary? Just choose whatever fits your profile. The next is the crucial one. So you want to choose who can see that you're open to work. It's probably not wise if you're still in the job and looking for new opportunities. It's just not a good impression if your boss discovers that you're looking for a new job, right? So what you want to do in this situation is just click here. This also includes recruiters and people. Oh, not all members. Sorry, this is the second one. Recruiters only. So it is only open to people using LinkedIn recruiters account. But visible to them, not other people in your company or everybody on LinkedIn. So it is something you probably don't want to do. And once you've done that, just add to your profile. And then your profile will show like this. Ooh. I'm just doing a demo. I'm not looking for a job. Oh, it's not showing up. Yeah, because it's not showing up because I'm not using a recruiter's account. However, you already activated the open to work option. Okay. If you want to delete, close this open to work, just delete from profile, and it's done. It's not open to anything now. You're just working on your current role. Okay, I just showed before that my impressions, like how I accumulated those impressions in the past year. And this is actually entering from analytics. And the thing, the place you want to click on is this post impression. Just click into it. What you can see here is that you have analytics on posts and audience. The post will be the past 7 days all the way back to past a year. Then you just choose your time period, show zone. What you can change also is show your impressions and engagement. So right now is the impressions, and then you can change to engagement and show the result. That will show you like engagement, including commenting, liking, sharing, those kind of stuff, like people actively engaging with you. You can see here it's still very constant in the past year. What's more interesting is that when you pull down the page, you can see that what are your top performing posts and what are the impressions on them or engagements on them. It's quite interesting because that will be the starting point for my second part of demo. I will just go through all my most popular posts from this page. The other thing is that you can check your audience other than the posts. The audience means how many people have been like following you, and also who are the people actually checking our profile. It's like discover your stalkers. You can also group them in titles, job titles, or locations. Interesting that I've got some Guangzhou, Foshan places checking out on me. And you can also check the industries, like who are interested in you from which kind of industry. There are all sorts of analytics data you can actually check out. Why we check this? Because you can monitor how well you have been doing, like how active you are on LinkedIn. So just keeping yourself a tracking record of your recent performance on engaging with LinkedIn users. Okay, so let's get back to the major profile page. Now we will move on to the actual work experience part, right? So for the work experience, you can do a few things. Firstly, just to draft what you are doing, like what is your job opportunity, responsibilities, and your work scope. Then you just write a few bullet points on what you have done or what is your achievements, what kind of things you have delivered. And then you can add some skills on top of it, but make sure you use the most relevant skill list rather than just list hundreds of skills because that will overwhelm people very easily, right? Just list the most relevant ones and maybe most relevant ones for your next job opportunity you want to target on. Another thing you can do is a lot of people will neglect it is to attach the document that you think will add your weight or prove that you are a very well-performed employee, which is where I did here is the feedback form that I had my direct manager filled out for me in a one-on-one feedback session. So by attaching those documents with the authentic like signage on it and the date on it, this is actually keeping a working record for yourself easily. So whenever the hiring manager check on your profile, they can just click into those documents and then they will know instantly how you are doing. So this is another document I uploaded for my NZX, which is my first BA role. And this is the performance review of myself, like all those details of my work and feedback from my colleagues, my stakeholders. This is such a great thing that you can do to uplift your profile's credibility. The last one, education, easy, right? Just to put up your university and when did you graduate and what did you study. When you want to show off your grades, you got a distinction, just put it out there. Don't be shy to brag about yourself because you have worked hard towards it to get that. So just post it there. Then the licensing and certification is pretty straightforward. Whenever you did a certificate, just link it to LinkedIn. So for example, the Microsoft ones, it is actually directly linked from the Credly, and it's all interconnected with the certification system. So you don't really need to manually do a lot of things, just end with query serial numbers. And the other thing is the Salesforce. So it is also connected by the Trailhead. It's another system from the Salesforce. You can just directly link those certifications to your profile. Yeah, the analyst business like the skills section is basically what you have attached to your work experience. And these ones can be endorsed by your colleagues or your LinkedIn connections. it is good to have some endorsement because it's not just you stating that you have those skills. Actually, other people help you to prove you've got those skills. So it's highly recommend you ask a few people to help you to endorse those skills, and make sure you can kind of prioritize these skills. How you do that is like reorder. You can always do a reorder of all those sections. Just put the most important ones like the agile and waterfall, requirement gathering, those most relevant skills to your work. You want to reorder them in a certain way. Okay, as a skill. Recommendations, the most important thing and the most interesting one. You can see here, I've got 10 plus recommendations all the way back to 2016. That's the year where I started job hunting in New Zealand, where I moved to New Zealand holding a working silver film visa. That's why I started accumulating those referrals, recommendations, because I think it's a great way to prove myself that I'm a great employee and to any company. As you can see here, throughout the years, I've been accumulating 2019, 2020. So when is the best timing to ask for a recommendation? It's probably when you're just about to leave your current role and you have a reason to ask people to write your recommendation. The way you do that is actually just ask directly to them in person. Ideally, the best way is in person, or you email them, or you text message them, or you call them. So that you got an oral commitment that they will write you a recommendation. And then once you got that, you just send them a link inviting them to write recommendations for you. How do you do that? Easy way. You can see here, ask for a recommendation, or otherwise you can give recommendation to someone, but mostly we ask for recommendations. Just click into it and then search for people you want to have the, for example, I just use Paul Bank as example, and then just continue, right? Continue, what is the relationship? You can just mentor you or whoever like you report to, and then position at that time, just choose the roles that you are working where you engage with that people, and then you just attach a personalized message. But if you already got the oral commitment, you can just make it very easy. Use the standard format, or just add your like name, why you want to list recommendations for, and then click send. Easy. So once they give you the recommendation, you can have a review of it. Then you can add it to your profile. However, this is not done yet. Because it's a very tricky part. If you're looking at your page and wondered why there's no sections of that, that is probably because you haven't really enabled that function. The way to do it is you click the pencil here, and then it will bring you, oh, not here. Edit profile and URL, yeah, here. So this is the edit visibility. Only if you activate the visibility on your page for these sections, this section will show up on file. So you can see here, there are a lot of things like recommendations, language, certifications, volunteer experience. You need to turn them on. Otherwise, it's nothing there, even you already approved the recommendation from the people you asked for or requested. Make sure you have checked your visibility from this page. Cool. That's pretty much about the building profile stuff. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions at the end related to how to build a profile to be a very successful one. And yeah, languages, another thing. Cool. Alrighty, let's close off my first part of the demo. Let me have a bit of drink. Talking a lot. Okay. The second part, I think the most people are struggling on is to figuring out how to build your influence on LinkedIn and what kind of content can you post on LinkedIn. So let's just break this down a little bit more into a few steps. However, we always need to remember what is our end goal. It is that through building a strong professional network, ideally over 500 connections, and then you can preserve an active presence so that people can easily notice you and engage you, so that we'll be able to know you better and have more interest in you. So how to quickly grow your connections first to be able to build your influence? Easy way. Firstly, you want to start with the people you already know, which we call sort of the first degree. And it could be your friends, families, ex-colleagues or current colleagues or classmates, whoever you know them from, that in the real life. So you just reach out to them, search their name on the internet, on LinkedIn, and send a friend request. So I would love to, I will show you in the live demo that is a common mistake that people always made is that they follow someone rather than sending a friend invitation to them. This is critical because if you just follow them, they will not see you. They will not receive any notification from you. So you really need to send a friend request to the people that you want to connect with. And second is the secondary connection, which is from your current connections connection. What you can do, I will show you just in a second, is that you can just click into the person's profile and enter their contacts list so that you can see the people's contacts under their profile. Then you just click into each of the profiles that you feel that you're interested in. And then if they are the target people that you want to connect with, just send them a friend request. It's that easy to find that people might be kind of helpful in building your future network. Last one is the third degree connection. That is a little bit more difficult than the second one because you have no common friends. That's why it is called the third degree connection. However, you can recognize or make friends with people that you met from the professional meetups or events or local community events, or someone that just work for a company that you are very interested in, or you want also to work there. So just go to the organization's profile or the LinkedIn page, then click into who work in that organization, and you will find these people within the company that you have a strong interest on. So normally we say when you connect with people, you need to add a personalized note so that people know who you are, give them some context and why you want to connect with them. This is a real example that I received from someone. They say, hi, we've never met, but I'm keen to connect as you've been so cool, doing cool stuff, and I want to follow along. So see, this is a very personalized. They tell me why they want to connect with me and give a very very strong reason, or they have incorporated their emotions. So they're really authentic, they're genuine, and you will be more than happy to connect with the people like them. So this is the successful tips for you. Once you've got at least 500 connections, which means you have a great foundation to build on, and the system will understand better what kind of profile they can promote to you to connect with. However, once you've got your, for example, your shop has been decorated with flowers, products, or beautiful paintings, you've done everything you could to build a good profile. However, you can't just sitting there and wait people to discover you, right? You just need to get out and market yourself and show who you are actively, more proactively. Then the question comes to how can we market ourselves? What kind of things we can do on LinkedIn? Don't worry, I'm not telling you you need to write a lot of posts from tomorrow or from next week. We actually break this down into 4 steps. So the first step is really sit down and think about how do you want to market yourself? What kind of positioning do you want actually to set up for yourself? Here, just to easily recognize kind of positioning and marketing strategy, I've created a few kind of personas, and you can just pick up the ones that you think is the best match for yourself. For example, myself, I always brand myself as a storyteller. I would love to share the stories throughout my career, like the awesome things or the cool stuff I did throughout everyday work or my life events. And you could be an educator, like you share some useful information. For example, the other day I shared what is business analysis, like people is happy to get some useful information and get educated. Also, you could be a learner, like someone always taking examples, always taking exams or learning online courses. So whenever you have a certification done, you can just post it and celebrate on your LinkedIn. And this can be identified as a learner. Then you could be a marketer. Like, for example, I'm now currently a meetup event organizer. So I always post those activities or events on my LinkedIn. So you're actually marketing your events or your things that you're involved with. So you could be identified yourself as a marketer. And then you can be a creator. For example, if you create something really awesome, like good product, or you created a painting, or you created, for example, a very, very comprehensive market research report, you can just post on LinkedIn, right? You can just ask people, like have people's engagement with you, just to understand that you are a very creative person. You can show your creativity throughout the work that you've done. And the next one is investigator. Like some people, they would love to post some polls and get some feedback from the potential users or customers or whoever, like stakeholders, and then get some insights from those polls. So they can have the first-hand information by asking those polls or questions. Just take a moment to reflect on yourself, like what kind of roles or personas you feel the most attached to, or maybe start with that you feel the most comfortable, and then you can go from there. All right. The second step towards becoming active and influential on LinkedIn is to do things that when you don't know what to post, is easily to interact with other people's posts. For example, if you see a very inspirational post, you just comment below that popular post, and then you will also be easily recognized by other people who engage with that popular post from other people's LinkedIn profile. And you can repost, also share and like. So any engagement with other people will also increase your own exposure on LinkedIn. And also if you found, oh, this post is really awesome, I want to learn from it, just study the post a little bit deeper and break it down to understand exactly what's the logic behind it. And this is something I will show you in my second demo, just to explain the logic and why I organize my information in that way, so that you can use those techniques in your own content creating. That's pretty straightforward and simple. Then again, reflect on what is unique about yourself, what kind of value you can provide to the other people. So provide them a reason to engage with you and to interact with you, right? You always start with why. And also start from your reader's perspective. Like, what do they want to see? And what kind of emotions do you want to rouse within them by creating your post? So there is normally just those very simple groupings. For example, your content could be useful, your content could be interesting, inspiring, enlightening, entertaining, or surprising. So these are emotion labels that you can think of. What kind of emotions you want to kind of rise from people when they read the post. So for me, as example, I always want to make my post inspiring. I always want to have some good insights, like the useful insights for the people who read my post. Sometimes surprising. I probably will provide some contrast in the contents I wrote, because it's like a storytelling technique to build some contrast, to build some turning point, right? Or maybe enlightening as well for my post, that I want to really deliver this kind of message or deliver this kind of impression on people. And step 3 towards becoming influential on LinkedIn is to create original posts. And this is the most critical and effective approach on building up your influence and building up your presence and being active on LinkedIn. So you'll see all those posts. That is because when I created posts have the most engagements with people. So here are some specific examples you can post on your LinkedIn, starting with your work achievements. For example, you complete the sale, you delivered the project, you have solved a big problem, or you have delivered some like major milestones, like launched your products, or something has significantly happened, or you got a certificate. Just to celebrate. Don't be shy, because people are actually very willing to engage with you and congratulate on those achievements, right? And secondly is to ask for help. So for example, if you need ideas for your assignment, or maybe you want some feedback on the speech craft and script that you drafted, or anything, like be a practice tips, like someone can tell me how can I write a technical specification document, you can just post those questions on LinkedIn and just prompt people commenting on you, engage with them, because people are always happy to give advice, right? People are actually happy to educate, and you just be there and receiving those feedback. It's quite easy. The third one is share insights. The insights could be coming from the role or the company or the industry that you're working in. Like, for example, I'm working in the banking system and as a business analyst. So I can share all sorts of stuff, like what is happening in the banking or finance industry and what is happening in the BA area. So all these things can benefit other people. Or maybe you have contributed to some community group, you have done some good for business. And also you can chat about, for example, the most popular topic here is ChatGPT. Like, how have you applied ChatGPT or utilized them in your daily work? You can share those insights and just spread the ideas that is worthwhile for other people to understand or touch on. The fourth one is to share your learnings. Be simple as a book or a quote or a podcast that you want to recommend to other people, or a piece of YouTube video. Maybe, for example, when we upload this video to YouTube, you can also just forward it to your LinkedIn and say, hey, look, I have attended this session and I found it really useful. So what is my learnings 1, 2, 3? Just give some bullet points, make some original ideas documented rather than just post a link simply. Adding some flavor to it so that people are happy or more interested in to read it. Or online course you find is really useful, and you can also add some recommendations to it, why you recommend it, what is good about this course, and add some authentic thoughts and recommendations to it is pretty useful. Lastly, I've already touched on, just run a poll, ask some thought-provoking questions, like, for example, what do you think are top 3 skills that the people a BA should have? It is also to prompt people's interactions with you, because it is quite interesting to see the poll result if people have the same questions, right? So these are all the things you can post about. Next time, don't complain about you don't know what to post. There are so many things. Just be very observative and be sensitive of the things happening around you. They can all become your topics posting on LinkedIn. Last one, if you really want to be have a large influence or become very influential on LinkedIn, you probably want to step up and do a little bit more. And maybe also to fine-tune or refine your message, your tone, and your approach. So these are some of the pro tips that I can give to you, which I've already practiced in my activities on LinkedIn. So firstly, the most favorite tips I would love to give is focus on storytelling. Not just give dry effects, not just give facts, because people are emotional animals. They love to be prompted to have some feelings within it. What you need to do is that sometimes if you write a long article, the system will fold them into just showing the top 3 lines. What you really want to do is just grab people's attention right away in a few seconds. So just write some very strong punchline and attractive first a few phrases so that people will keep reading your post when they just encountered your post. And then you can also create some tension, contrast, and incorporate emotions in your post. So I will show exactly how I did it. And then be consistent. You can start from 1 post per week just to see how it goes. And then you gradually increase the frequency to maybe 2 or 3 posts per week. But to be honest, I think 1 post per week, just focusing on the quality is good enough for as a starting point. Also adding quality photos, because people are always like visual animals. They love to see images, especially with people in images. They will be super interested to read it. And then you can convert your post content into image, because sometimes people love your content and they want to save it. The easiest way is just to downloading an image. This is something I learned from some celebrities like Adam Grant or Simon Sinek. They all do the same thing, just convert them into image. The next one is use relevant hashtags and mention other people or organizations in your post so that you can have engagement with your colleagues or even your company. or maybe your customer's company as well. By doing that, one thing you probably want to think of is that what perceptions I want to create for the other people or the other organization that I mentioned in my post. So you really want to create a good image, a positive influence on these people. Maybe your managers, maybe your partner, like customers or your customers. You really want to highlight the positive side of this. So I will explain exactly what do I mean by that. Okay. Now it's my next live demo. Okay. I will just drag my page here and someone sent me a message. What I do is that I showed earlier. Just go to here, post impression. And then click on the past 365 days. So I can read from my posts. It is the most popular posts. So I hope it will be interesting for you to see like all those impressions numbers and compare it with your own numbers and see how actually you can progress and improve. I guess first of all, when you read all those top performing posts, what can you discover some commonalities of those popular posts? I'll give you 2 seconds to think of it. All right, my answers are, firstly, every single post almost have a photo or image in it, right? Easy to pick up. And then the most popular posts sometimes are around starting a new job. You're quitting your current job, and yeah, and you're volunteering with something, like you're engaging with your community, and sometimes your personal life, like outside of work, could be also interesting as well. Yeah, this again is a volunteering post for some of tech, and this is my personal travel images in Queenstown. This is a BA panel talk with a lot of people there. Like people are really keen to read it. And this is another one for the volunteering. I was doing the tree planting. Yeah, so you can see that people are really happy to see things that you volunteering or contributing back to a community. So this is some real examples that I can show you here. Okay, quite easy and straightforward, right? Right, let me just dive into all those popular posts. This is one of my top popular posts throughout all the years. This is when I started, this is when I finished my study with Victoria University. And how I did that is by posting a lot of quality photos. So it is really good photos using a proper camera. And also I told a little story behind it. So you can see here, my persona is storyteller, and I want to raise emotion of inspiring within people. So I start with that I was born in the year of tiger, just to raise some interest. People might think, why you say that? Why you want to mention that you're born in the year of tiger? So just create a little of curiosity within people, and then create some contrast as well. Because 12 years ago, it is the year of tiger. I graduated from a master's degree in China, back in China. And 12 years later, I again graduated from a master's degree, but it is in Wellington in New Zealand. So you can see it has created a very strong contrast, and by leading from a simple phrase that roused people's interest. Then I said, I'm proud to walk in the parade with my classmates. Those kind of like you're celebrating achievement with a bunch of awesome people. So people may want to be part of this celebration. They want to congratulate you. They want to be happy with you. So I successfully roused people's interest and emotions that I really want to, people have the perceptions on me. So this is a good example that how you can create a great story by just a few lines, very simple lines, but actually you create a lot of emotions in it. And this is the second one, which is the most recent one. I started at Westpac, New Zealand. This is because I've already got good connections there. So people really congratulate me getting a new job. So I didn't really say anything apart from that I started a new role within Westpac. But every time you post that, you can choose this image, like celebrating a work anniversary. So this is something embedded in LinkedIn. You can choose different type of images you want. And the third popular one is when I left my first BA role at NZX. I didn't just simply say I left NZX. I did something further. What did I do? Easy. Summarized phrase in the beginning. Today is the end of my 9-month journey. Straightforward, very focused, concise. Just tell people the conclusion. What I'm going to talk about is closing off my journey at NZX. Also, again, post a quality image of myself standing in the balcony of my company. And then what did I do is that I created a little nice summary of what I have learned from this 9-month journey. And because this is my full-time business analyst job, I have lots to say. For example, why I loved about being a BA, that is because I can use my creativity, I can work through ambiguity and promote the agile mindset. It's basically a nice way to brag about yourself because you have done so many things. But you just do it in a subtle way, like summarized in a few bullet points, so that when people read it, they will think, oh, now I know what does a BA do and what kind of things they can achieve or actually kind of make an impact as a BA. So it can achieve multiple ways by delivering a message like that. So remember one thing, if you have something to say, you can say it in multiple ways. You can have different delivery of it, different presentations. It all depends on what kind of impressions you want to create, right? And then in the end, I just have a very short, strong summary. In short, there are so many opportunities for BA to make a positive impact, and thank you so much. So you always want to leave a good impression when you leave a country, leave a job, because you still want to maintain the connections with your ex-colleagues. That's why until today, I can easily invite my ex-colleagues out for coffee or drink, because I've kind of appreciate them in my last day, and they will also appreciate my efforts and all those nice words I've created for them to summarize my period there. So whenever you leave a job, make sure you can create some posts like this to kind of make an impact or make impressions on people. Right. So this is the one I've given an example in my slides, which is the recent thing I've done, which is quite inspiring, according to many people. And you can see the comments, a lot of engagements on this one, almost 7,000 impressions so far. Lots of people appreciate, they thank me for giving such a clear, very very comprehensive summary of business analysis, what it is, and how to kind of recognize or identify the BA candidates. So what I did that, again, catch people's attention in the first three lines. How did I do it? Again, I create a contrast. Like 2 years ago, very few recruiters want to work with me because of something. And then after 2 years, what has changed sharply? So this already creates some tensions in the first three lines. Like people want to read more about it. People want to think, oh, what had happened in the past 2 years? What did you do to make this change, this sharp change? Then I will explain that from the recruiter's perspective, because this is a presentation or a training that I delivered to a recruiter. Then I standing from their point of view, pointing out why the industry is tough and how I can help them on something that I'm an expert on. Like I know BAs more than them, so I can help them to educate, to teach them, to spread my knowledge. And then I use my own as an example that anyone who has a determination to become a good BA from other backgrounds can be really successful. So this is the message I want to give all of you today as well. Just giving a consistent effort and doing stuff and making you outside of there, present yourself properly. You will also do something really good. You'll achieve big things. Okay. And then I also prompt some comments some questions asking how do you recognize good beers. However, no one answers that question. That's all good. At least I got enough engagement with that. You can see this again is a story. It's got a flow, got a very strong interest at the beginning, right? So that people want to read more. Otherwise, there's so many words, people probably just neglect it. Another thing I want to touch on is about your personal life. Because some people say, oh, LinkedIn is a professional network. You probably don't want to post too many personal life on it. However, I don't fully agree with that, because sometimes have a change will also increase people's interest on you. For example, this is the winter climbing of Mountain Taranaki that I did in, I think, August this year. And I got stunning photos of it. A lot of people loved it, okay? Because it's something that's not commonly seen. Not many people can do it. And just people loved seeing all those kind of things. However, keep it minimum, like 10% of all your posts as your personalized posts. So 10 to maximum 20% will be good enough. Yeah, so if you got some interest, you can keep reading it. However, I think I'm running out of my time today. Yeah, so I will stop there. And also getting back to my slides, which is the last part is the etiquette. There are a lot of things you can do, but there are some things that you probably want to avoid doing. Why? Because again, you want to maintain a good image of yourself, a professional image of yourself when you expand your LinkedIn presence. So it is a very particular kind of social media platform because it's a professional network. That's why it's different from the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and it has a specific group of audience. So things you want to avoid, such as aggressively adding people that you don't know and you adding no notes to them. So that system might consider you as a spamming, or they want just to maybe restrict you from doing a lot of stuff. And then you want to always keep a positive image on LinkedIn. So try to avoid making negative posts or comments or inappropriate comments to other people's posts, like no offensive words, no racist, or anything like will reflect poorly on you, your company and image. And if you do something wrong, companies probably will chase after you. So it's not something you really want to do, okay? And then when you are working in the company for a certain role, you probably don't want to open for opportunities to everyone that your current colleagues or boss can see. This is a taboo in the workplace. However, if you have a solid reason, for example, your company is going through a restructuring process, and you already been told that you will be laid off in a certain amount of time, that is okay if you put it open to work on your LinkedIn page. Just ask people to help you to provide some opportunities. And then you can do a good marketing on LinkedIn. However, you don't want to flexify, just over exaggerate your experience or your skills or anything you haven't done. Because once people saw it on your LinkedIn page and they asked about it during the interview, and you don't know how to answer that, it is a very poor image you created for the interviewers, and you suddenly instantly lost all your credibility in front of them. So make sure you avoid that. Just add the things that actually you have done or you are confident with, post it on LinkedIn. And also, we'll touch on that, limit post about personal content, maybe maximum 10% of the personal content on LinkedIn. All right, whoa. Elena, do you want to read out the Q&A? Thank you so much, guys, for your patience. I see there's still 84 people there. Thank you for hanging out until the Q&A session. Now I'm happy to go through those questions.
Fantastic. Yep. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and skills with us. That's really helpful. I'm sure we will build an effective LinkedIn profile. This will be useful for finding job opportunities, contacting with people, and staying on top of the industry trends. Well, let's move on to the Q&A board. Let's take the first question, which is how...
hold on. Sorry.
Okay.
I was just finding my mouse because I couldn't see my mouse. I don't know where I'm pointing at. But just a second. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. If you guys haven't, okay. Let's see the first question.
Yeah, that's not showing the screen. Ooh,
Okay, I can see one question from here.
why is that?
The first one, how should I write a compelling story if my past job don't have much to do with the job I want now?
Okay.
So yeah, again, I will read questions another time. The first one is, how should I write a compelling story if my past job don't have much to do with the job I want now?
Well, I guess you just need to reframe your work experience. As I said, for one piece of the same messages, you can actually do it in different ways. For example, if you help to tidy up, for example, just put some steps or process in place just to improve the productivity. You can say that I have been leading the optimization of the internal processes and standardization of it. So just make use a little bit fancy words or something relevant to your next role to describe what you have been doing, stuff like that. One suggestion I can give you is that you probably can use the AI tool, the ChatGPT, to give you some ideas. You just type in whatever you think you are currently doing, but you don't feel like it's strong enough or relevant enough. Just type in it and then say, can you convert this to a more stronger statement or a more relevant to some sort of job descriptions? And then I'm sure the AI will help you to craft a really good message on how you describe your work experience. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. This is a valid.
I think I may just go to the Slido website and then read from there. So let me just do that.
Yeah, this is the valid question because. Yeah, please.
Just a sec.
Okay, just now it's a very valid question because most of us will face the same situation, isn't it? Yeah, it's great question. So for a second, let's see the next one. Sophie, can I read the question and?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
you can read the question when I step onto it.
Yeah. Next question is how to convert my skill-based CV into a LinkedIn profile.
Skill-based CV, right? It's quite easy. I think I've shown it on LinkedIn because there's a section of skills, right? There's a section of skills.
That's
so
better.
For example, yeah, no, just a sec. So for example, I haven't really crafted my work experience in Westpac, so I can do it right now. Just not at a position. Hold on a sec. So you can just edit and then edit your work experience. And in the skills section, you can add the skills already attached to other job work experience. Or if there's nothing there, you just add a skill. For example, I can add a DevOps, right? DevOps, and you can select from there, DevOps, and you can add skill, another skill, like pipeline, whatever. Pipeline. Okay. And then you just convert all those skills in your CV in this way. And as I said, you can actually also prioritize in the skills section. You just click back to LinkedIn and drag all the way down. There's a section of skills. So you can also add skills over there. Another good thing about skills section is that you can demonstrate skills these days. And there are some new features from LinkedIn that they produced. Quite interestingly, they have this section called demonstrate transferable skills. I think it is super useful for someone who wants to transition their career, right? However, there's nothing in place for BA right now. There is for project management, for marketing, sales. I personally haven't done this before, but you guys can feel free to try out, like see how effective it is. So basically, this is like a Q&A. You just describe whatever you understand about project management. You can record a video. I think the video is a great way because you're showing authenticity of yourself and you can present in a live way, how you talk, how you emit your messages, or you just write a response. It's easier to fake it, to be honest. You can't really prove that you've got the practical experience.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Also another thing, another thing is that you can take the skill assessment. You can answer 15 multiple questions, score up in the top 30, then you can earn a skill badge. I haven't personally done that, but you guys, again, can feel free to try it out. So it just gives them more a proof or evidence that you actually master the skill, and it can show up in your profile. Yeah.
Okay.
Next question, please.
Yeah, that's pretty cool tip.
Thank you. Okay, next question.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next question. There is one is, if somebody only had worked in one company for several years, but in many different roles, how would you suggest they write the experience part?
Different roles. Yeah, I think that's a good question. Right. I think one way you can see is that just go to someone's profile and check out how they structure their kind of roles. So maybe let me find an example that I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe my ex-boss, Barbara's, because she has done a few roles within Etiquette. Let me just check her roles. Yeah, so you can see there's multiple roles, and you can just change the titles within it. So there must be a way of doing that. However, I really didn't prepare the demonstration of that because I haven't been really changed my roles within the company. So this is something I really haven't actually looked into it. But however, yeah, just checking other people's profile and see how they structure that multiple roles within the company. I think that will be super useful. Cool. I think we have done this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've done this. Okay.
Okay. Next question is, let me see. Which is more important to get a good job, good LinkedIn profile, or the technical skill the person has?
Yeah, right. Interesting one, eh? Because you only give me two options, good profile or technical skills. However, there are much more than that. Having a LinkedIn profile is the starting point to just grab people's attention or get people noticing you. I guess that's the first step. The second step is how you actually engage with people who has interest on you. For example, if a recruiter approached you with some roles or opportunities, how do you respond to them? How do you actually work with them? And then just to continue proceeding forward. And this is something actually less relevant to technical skills, because technical skills, you probably need to present it during your work or maybe at the interview phase. However, you really want to demonstrate your soft skills when you engage with people, anyone who has potential interest on you to hire you. You want really to be responsive. You reply to people's messages, and you want to be very respectful. Like whenever they talk to you, you just respond in a very professional way, very polite. And also, you need to be super clear about what you want. For example, what kind of job, what kind of roles, what kind of industries, or what kind of working environments or people you want to work with, or the type of projects. You need to be super clear about your own needs so that you were able to communicate with those like recruiters or hiring managers. So actually, all these are more relevant to your soft skills rather than technical skills. And just to summarize, having a good profile is just the starting point for you. However, if you have really applied the tips I shared today, I'm sure you will get a lot of interest from there. But that's the first step towards being successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Let's move on to the next one. How to cover my skills base. This one already answered.
Yeah,
right?
we've done that.
Okay, we've done that. Next one, how to increase the exposure of personal LinkedIn page. I think Sophie already answered all the questions from. Yeah.
I think this one I haven't answered. Is that some advice for new grads?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for new grads, as I mentioned earlier, there are several things you can do. Firstly, just to grow your network, to reach to at least the first threshold, which is 500 connections. And then by doing that, you can, like, to be able to achieve that, you can add all your friends or your classmates or even your lecturers. Like whenever you took a course, just add your lecturer's LinkedIn page. And I'm sure they will be happy to connect with you. And then starting from there, you just probe into other people's contests and then add people that you're interested in. Or for example, if you are interested in becoming a graduate within Xero, you just go to Xero's homepage. I can quickly show you, right? Xero, right? There is a company page. You just there because it is a good company that many people who wants to work in there. So for example, there are already 15 connections working there, right? So whenever you have an interview opportunity, you can just check, look at who you want to talk to and maybe get some internal information for your interview and who has working in a similar roles. For example, a graduate Salesforce engineer, if you got the same interview coming up, you probably want to have a chat with them, just to message them. But if you don't have any connections, what do you do? See, there's a people recommending to you, like the second degree. You already have some connections, like common connections. So it's much easier for you to connect with them. And if I want to connect with these people, right, it's a software developer in Xero. As you can see that you can put a connect button, just send a message, or you can send a profile, don't click follow because the other person can't see you. Or you can send a message to them. Not for the moment. Anyway, yeah, you can connect with them. And then once they connect with you, you can just ask a few questions, but make sure you make it super polite and provide context rather than just throw a very simple question. You can probably just Google it, right? Do some preparation work and understand exactly what is the question you want to ask them for and for feedback. Okay, this is something you can do as a graduate. And the third one is just to feature yourself. Like you can actually show off your, for example, your work or project during the university. You can put them in, for example, about section or just a featured section, profile sections. Yeah, education, skills, position, recommendation, additional at owners. So for example, you've got a, I don't know, some scholarship, you can put it there that you have awards and you can test the schools. Publications, volunteering experience is a great one. If you volunteer, for example, as PCA or volunteered in the university's organizations, just put it there. So I think these are all valid experience that can make your profile more stronger. Yeah. As some of my suggestions to graduates.
Yeah, that's a good question because some of us will face the same situation. So let's move on to the next one. There is a good question. There is a gap in the work experience. Does it matter? If it matters, should I add some other experience to fill the gap?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that depends on what's the nature of the gap. For example, if you are going back to university to do, for example, master course like me, it will take me about a year and a half without a practical working experience, right? Or maybe you are a mother who have just recently had a baby and you stayed at home for 2 years. I guess these are all the reasonable, like the valid reasons why you had a career gap. However, if you don't really have anything to fill in those gaps, that's fine. You just need a solid reason when people ask about it. Like, for example, if you're staying at home, why are you staying at home? Why you make that decision and what you are doing just to make yourself returning to the career, to the workplace. So you can just keep posting like the certificates you've done. You still can keep a live or active presence on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter like if you have a career gap or not, but if you have a long gap, for example, you are very quiet, doing nothing for 2 years on LinkedIn, not engaging with anyone, I think that will be a bigger problem of yourself rather than having this gap in your career history. So that's all fine. Another thing is that if you have some like internship, even without pay or some volunteering experience, you can actually post or edit in your profile. Example is that I did that before, which is I was working for a startup company without giving me any salary or incentive. Did I post it anywhere? Yeah, car research. So I was doing some part-time, basically providing some online support to my friends who started this agri-tech company. So I just use it as my experience, even though during that time period, I'm a student at Vic Uni, and this is not official job, but this is something I think can highlight my skills and highlight my kind of motivations to become a qualified BA. So all these skills are relevant, like refining the strategy, business model, requirement elicitation, and maturity evaluation of project management. So anything you can think of is relevant to your next role, just put it out there on LinkedIn. I think everything will be valid.
Yeah, I think those are all pretty cool tips. Interesting, isn't it? Let's move on to the next question. How to connect with other people? I think
it's been covered.
Yeah, he's asking the one how to connect with the one you don't know and the one you are not familiar with, but you want to connect with him.
I think I've already provided some tips on that.
Yeah.
So just to refer to the slides. In the end of the session, we will share the slides to everyone by sending an email. So just watch this space.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. How to make up the banner if currently I'm not sure of features, etc.
Well, I'm not sure about the question, to be honest. What kind of features? If you don't know what to make the banner, just choose a nice picture, like some working place, working environment, or maybe a nice landscape photo that you've taken before when you're traveling around. I think that's all. It doesn't need to be like something like my version. Like this is a particular example that I made. So you don't really need to be looking like that. You just need to put up something that is looking nice rather than empty space for your banner. Yeah, and you can also add a piece of quote if you think it is relevant to describe like what kind of person you want to become. I think adding a quote is really good. Yeah, otherwise you can add some, for example, what is your career aspiration? Like, for example, someone would love to solve problems. It can be a label to yourself as well. Just put in the banner. I think it will be great. Yeah, great. Cool. So let's move on to the next one. How to make a title under my name? Yeah, I think I've covered that one. So there's a lot of strategies on that. But using keywords is one of the initial thing you want to do. Yeah, keywords. Cool. Next one. Yeah, next one. How do you do with recruiters message while you don't have plan to change job? Yeah, I think it is good to maintain some good relationship with those recruiters. So normally when I receive those kind of messages, I will say, thank you for your interest or thank you for reaching out. I appreciate that information you provided or making the connections with me. But I will politely explain that I don't really have any plans to change my job, at least in the following year or next 6 months. But I will always say that I'm more than happy to stay in touch and get on top of the industry trends or the market needs. And maybe we have some opportunities in the future to collaborate on some new roles coming up that might be suitable for me. So I always want to maintain a relationship, like be a little bit open rather than just ignore them. Because, you know, these people sending out messages every day, but I guess probably they don't receive a lot of responses, right? If you are actually responding with a very polite message and trying, keen to keep in touch, I think they will be impressed with how active you are or how engaging you are. And this is a great place to make a first good impression on them. Yeah, I think that would be good strategy for you to deal with the recruiters. I think those are very valid question, valid point. So let's move on to the next. There are a few more questions. Let me see. How much time you invest in LinkedIn on a daily basis? I think Sophie already answered this question. Case by case. I mean, creating a post is probably a weekly basis, on a weekly basis. However, you want to interacting with people. So probably in total, 1 hour will be more than enough, or half an hour will be enough for you to keep on top of things, like checking other people's activities and events and posts, just to give them a thumbs up. Yeah, that's good enough. Half an hour, I think. But consistently doing that. It's my case. Yeah. So next one is, as when I am on LinkedIn, how do I share things that make people not feel it is more about me, but not from my company's perspective? I don't really quite get this question, but I guess you probably don't want people to feel it's all about me, I, but it was more from the industry or from the third party's view.
Yeah.
Trick is let's tweak your message from the other people's perspective, like what's in there for you, right? I think you just always need to have this mindset. Even though you are bragging about yourself, you're actually providing some useful insights for the other people. Yeah, you can always tell the story. For example, the one I've explained that I did a training for recruiters. I always starting from them, like what is the problem they are facing and how I can help to address the problems or gaps. So this is a good tactic you can use, like starting with other people's perspective and where they stand, and then elaborate on how you can make contributions to these problems. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Here I have another question. Would you add part-time job did 10 years ago while studying, such as walk-in supermarket, which were not related to key skills you displayed, or just recent ones?
Yeah. Again, starting from why you want to do it, right? If you think it can actually contribute to what you want to achieve, like looking for the next role, I think definitely you should do it. However, since it's 10 years ago and it's a part-time, it's probably not so relevant to your next job aspiration. Yeah. It's probably not important to add that kind of experience. For example, I probably won't elaborate on my working holiday experiences because it's not super relevant to my BA roles these days. I just make it very bright, very concise, very light. Yeah, just keep it in that way.
Yeah. Fantastic. Here today we got so many questions. Thank you, Sophie. So Sophie, what's the best ways for people to connect with you if they want to keep talking about this question? What's the best way?
Just LinkedIn. Just LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah. Please connect with Sophie on LinkedIn if your questions hasn't been answered. My apologies, this session is the busiest, so we are now out of time. The only thing left to say is a massive thank you to Sophie to putting on such an interesting and engaging session. If you are happy with our event, please refer the meetup to your friends or colleagues, and we welcome your feedback on the meetup page so that we can improve the quality of our event. We will appreciate for that. And please make sure you upload your notes for the session to our shared Google Sheet. We will also upload the recording to our BA Career YouTube channel. Welcome to subscribe. And we will also share with you the PPT on Google Drive. You can study and practice it after the meeting. Please check all the links in the comment area. Hope to see you guys next week, next event on Tuesday, 14th February. And we will have also another 2 meetup events, which on February 22nd and February 23rd with Greg and Sophie. Thank you, Sophie, and thank you for everyone for your participation. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming. It's really nice chat with you.
Thank you.
Bye.